Hello, my name's James Biggs and I'm Head of Financial Wellbeing at Lorica Wealth. What I'd like to talk to you today is about engaging you on your own personal financial journey. Wherever that journey may be starting and wherever you're aiming to, it's important that you are part of that journey because it is your journey and it is your money. The way we do that at Lorica Wealth is we talk about the 5 A's. The first of those A's is accounts. I'm not asking you to be an accountant, that would be ever so slightly dull. I can say that with relatively safe assurance. My brother is one and I trained as one. I don't want you to be an accountant. I do want you to understand your own budget. I want you to understand how much money goes in and how much money goes out. And that does require some honesty and it does require a little bit of effort. So first of all, we can all add up the direct debits that go out. And secondly, we can have an understanding of what therefore is spare. But we do need to be honest in that. So if there is a cheeky Nando's in there or a revolting kebab, that's acceptable. It isn't okay to forget to put those into your budget. So once you have your budget worked out and you know what's coming in and you can identify what is disposable income, that's when you can start to plan. So that's the first A. So having identified your disposable income, I'd like to move on to the second A, and that's ambition. What do you actually want your money to do for you and when do you need it to happen by? So in order to test this, I've recently done a similar lecture to the one that you're hearing me deliver right now to some sixth form students where I gave them a fictitious £1,000 and I asked them with a lot of encouragement to be spontaneous, what would you spend it on? Got some good answers. Buying some hockey equipment, putting it towards driving lessons, giving it to my parents, I quite liked that one, saving towards my university fees, investing it in shares. One lad said invest it in shares. But you also get completely left field answers. I'd like to buy a shark, I'd like to buy a butler, I'd like to buy a kebab van. One lad even said, I'd like to buy a girlfriend. And I said, that's an entirely different lesson. I'm leaving that to your teacher to pick that up another day. However, what we were trying to do is identify from the things that you would spend your money on what was a want and what was a need. We did feel that food, one lad wanted to spend it all on Kentucky Fried Chicken, that's definitely a need. And so you could expand that. So needs include things like rent, mortgage, food, bills and utilities. We've then got some things sitting on top of that that we spend on regularly that are not necessary, but they're aspirational. And so that could well be buying a shark, or it could be having a kebab van. And it's more likely to be things like going on holiday, buying a car, buying a house, getting married. So it's important that you plot a lifeline from the point that you're planning to the place you want to get to that includes these aspirational items. So that's the second A. Okay, so once you've identified what your ambitions are, the important thing to then is take some action. So the third A is about taking action. So we've identified what our budget is, and we've now identified what our ambitions are and where we'd like that disposable income to be deployed. What I'm talking about now is what you do with that disposable income. And perceived logic is that you need some short-term, some medium-term, and some long-term savings vehicles to meet those ambitions. Short-term makes sense. Most of us can't meet from ordinary monthly income 4 new tyres on a car. That might come from a short-term savings supply. Medium-term, that could be the ambition to save for a mortgage, save for a deposit on a house in 5 years' time. Long-term, easy one. There's that point in our life when we all want to stop work, and it's the next phase of our life called retirement. So the third part of the plan, working with Lorica Wealth, is to take some action. The fourth A is advice. This is really important. This is the bit where it ensures that the actions you take are correct. So for us at Lorica Wealth, we think it's completely okay for you to self-advise using technology and using online functions that will help you make the right decisions. Many people will also be further assured by seeking advice face to face. This, in my mind, does three things. It gives you access to an expert, you get investment expertise as a result of that access, and lastly, there's a right to reply. The advisor must take responsibility through a regulated and compliant way to ensure that that advice is correct for you. So for us, taking advice is important to make sure that your actions meet the outcomes intended. Last but by no means least is your attitude to investment risk, and this is the final A. Your attitude to investment risk is massively important when you are taking financial actions, when you're taking financial advice. So our role as advisors is to ensure that your attitude to risk is properly recorded and properly matches your ambitions. For us, there are 4 life phases: Lager, Arga, Saga and Gaga. Your financial advice and your attitude to investment risk will change through these sections. What I'm really saying there is there's a phase in your life, the Lager phase, when you're a bit more frivolous and you can accept more risk. Then there's the middle part, the Arga phase. Then there's the bit from age 50, when Saga start offering you free coach trips and cheaper cat litter. In the Gaga phase, you don't really mind. Someone else is managing it and putting you under a nice warm tartan blanket. But your money still needs to work for you. And our job is to match that throughout your life journey. So those are the 5 A's, and let's just recap them once more. Firstly, do some accounts, work out your budget. Secondly, what are your ambitions? What are your aspirations? Thirdly, take some action. Fourth, ensure that before you take action, you've had some access to advice. And finally, match it to your attitude to investment risk. It's really important that you engage with your financial journey. It's really important that you understand your ambitions. It's really important that when you put your hard-earned and taxed income towards some kind of a savings vehicle, that it matches your attitude to risk. This is your money, make it work for you.